Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how you can automate the scheduling of your LinkedIn posts using Make.com. Earlier this month I had a coaching session with the business owner, and what they do is that they manage the posts of their clients. So instead of doing that manually, they want to automate everything basically. The first thing that you want to do is to go to Make.com and to create a new scenario. Before I show you the actual automation, I will show you the different ways a business on LinkedIn can upload posts via Make.com. The first step is to create a LinkedIn module. So just click here and then you click on LinkedIn. Here we'll focus on the organization section. This is related to the businesses, but know that you can also do that for your own personal LinkedIn. Here you can see that we can create three types of posts: the text post, the image post, and the video post. Let's start with the text post. First, here you see that my LinkedIn is already connected to Make.com, but if it is not already the case, it should be very easy to do that. Just, click on add, and then a pop-up should appear here, and then you should just authorize, Make.com to access LinkedIn on your behalf. Then here, click on organization. You should see the different companies that you can manage on LinkedIn, and then click on the right one. For me, it will be Neura First because there is a Neura First LinkedIn page. Here, this is the actual content that will appear on the post. Let's just write test content. The section mentions is about mentioning either people or companies. It is actually quite complex, so for this YouTube video, I will not go over how the mentions work, but later on, if you want that, just comment down below, and I can definitely add another YouTube video where I will show you how to do that basically. For the media type, let's select empty for now. Concerning the visibility, you have two options: either public or viewable by logged in members only. If you select public, this post will appear even if people don't have LinkedIn or are not signed in LinkedIn. So I think for SEO purposes, the public option is the best. But for this automation, I will just click on viewable by logged in members only. Now for the feed distribution, we have two options: the main feed or none. Yeah, of course, for your post, you should always select main feed. For now, I will just select none. And here I would advise you to keep this as no, because we want the post to be able to be reshared, right? Then click on OK. Now let's run it and see the results. We see that as an output, if everything worked well, we have a post ID. Okay, you see now how it looks like. This is the most, normal type of post that we can do. Now we will do it again, but in media type, instead of selecting empty, we will select article. And we can see that here there are two required options: the URL and the title. Now I have prepared a blog post from my website about a friend of mine who is a senior researcher at Microsoft. So I will copy the link, I will paste it here. For the title, let's just write title test. And for description, let's just write some description. You see that we also have the option to add a thumbnail in terms of file name and the actual image of the thumbnail. For now, let's just leave them as empty. Let's click OK and let's try again. Okay, so this is the result. You can see that in addition to the content, we also have a clickable area where if you click on it, it will of course redirect to the URL that we selected earlier. Now the second type of post that I will show you is the image post. Here the main difference with the previous module is that we need a file name and some data of the actual image that we will post. Meaning that we need some step before, to get the data of the image so that we can set it here. A nice way in Make.com to get image data and in general just, file data is through the HTTP module. So you will select the HTTP module, but more specifically, we need get a file action. Now for Make.com to get a file, it needs an URL, right, to go fetch that data. It means that if you want to publish an image on LinkedIn, the URL of that image should be publicly available. So I found a nice and easy way to make any image publicly available in case it is not already the case for you. First, you should upload your image on Google Drive and make that image publicly available by right-clicking here and then clicking on share. And here you should select anyone with the link. And for safety, just keep it as viewer here and then click on done. In Google Drive, there is a special link that lets your browser download an image once you enter that URL in your browser, basically. For this link to work, we need the actual ID of your image. In order to get the ID, you should click here on copy link. Here I just pasted here, so you can see that the ID is there. So for your particular use case, you will just copy the ID and then paste it here. So this will become the URL that we'll be using in make.com. Once you do that, this LinkedIn module will automatically detect that the module before is about getting a file. So it will just change this automatically. Here let's write title test, and for the content let's just write content test. Once we're done with the rest, let's just click on OK. Then let's run the scenario. Okay, so you see that it has worked, but in the meantime I had to change something. I had to change visibility to viewable by logged in members only, because apparently this option here doesn't work. So you can see that the content goes here and the image goes there. Now let's do the same but for a video post. I have prepared here a quick video just for this automation. So of course, since the asset is not the same, we should also get its ID. Copy it and then paste it here. Get the full link, paste that link here, and then click on OK. The video post works exactly the same as the image post. Let's run it now. This one should take more time because we are processing a video here, not an image anymore. And there you go, this is the video that was uploaded. Now we'll move on to the actual automation, and we'll cover two scenarios. The first one is, let's say you have a batch of content that you want to publish, and you want to publish it once a day, every day for, let's say, 30 days, for example. And the second scenario is the scenario where we will take into account the time of posting as well. Let's say you want to publish once a day, but at a specific time. So let's say you want to publish every day at 8 AM or something. Before I get started, just know that everything I will be showing you, the make.com blueprints, will be accessible in my Discord server. So I will just go to the resources channel, and then here you should find them. But if you're a business owner and you try to do this on your own and you think this is too much of a hassle, then we can definitely do this for you. I mean, you just need to book a meeting with us through the Calendly link in the description. Now we'll go through the first automation, meaning we want to upload each day, every day, and make.com will do that as soon as it detects the start of the day. I prepared this Google Sheet for this automation. It has 7 columns. The first one is the date, then we have time, the content of the post, the URL of the image, the URL of the post, the title of the image, as well as the status, meaning was it uploaded or not yet. And this automation will upload text posts with a link towards a URL. The first thing that we want to do is to go over all the rows here and see whether one date corresponds to the current date. That's why our first module will be search rows from Google Sheet. Here you will look for your Google Sheet, then you will select the right sheet name. Here our sheet contains headers, so you should leave it as yes here. We should use the first filter which compares the dates. So here we should select the column date. And then here there are multiple types of operators. You have a text operator, you also have numeric operators, but since we are manipulating date, you should here select datetime operator and select equal to. And then here for the date, we have a handy variable that make.com provides, which is the now. However, if we select it, it will not be the same format as here in our Google Sheet. It means that we need to format it. But we also have a provided function called format date. The first parameter that we'll be using is the now variable. The second parameter is the actual format. Here I made a change to those dates, so it will be adapted to our automation. This is the current date, so normally it should be selecting this post here. And then you can see that the format of the date is days, then months, then years. So here we should do the same. We should just write dd, then slash, then then slash, then 4 times y. Then we will see later on that this automation will be running multiple times a day, actually every 15 minutes. It means that this check will be made multiple times a day. And if we keep this condition only, it means that the same article will be posted multiple times a day. and we don't want that, right? That's why we need to add another condition. So click on this add and rule, and here you should select the column status equal to, and here you should write no. So this condition basically means that we're looking for a row where the date written here corresponds to the current date, and also where the status is no, meaning that it is not published yet. And then ordering and sorting don't matter, so just leave them as they are. And here for the limit, just set it as 1 because we only want to retrieve one row. And then click on OK. Then for the article post that we'll be posting, we'll also be using a thumbnail, meaning that we need an image data for this automation. So as you may have guessed it, we need the get a file action. And for the URL, we'll be getting URL image. And then click on OK. The next module will be our LinkedIn module. So the actual content that we want to publish will be in the column content here. For the media type, we'll be selecting article. For the URL, we will be selecting this URL post. The same for the title. Concerning the description, you can leave it either empty or just write some text, but anyway, it doesn't matter. I guess this option is made for SEO purposes, but I'm not sure about that. But anyway, let's just write a test description. And here for the file, we should select this option here. And then once you're done, you should just click on OK. Then the next step is we need to mark the row as uploaded, right? Meaning that we need to update this cell from no to yes. This means that we need an additional Google Sheets module, which is update a cell. So a cell is made up of a letter and a number. While we know the letter because we already know this is the column J for status, we can't know in advance, the row number. Fortunately, the Google Sheets search rows will also give us the row number. So here you should write G and then the row number. And for the value, you should write yes. Okay, so now you can see that for this particular row, the content is test automation post using make.com for day 6, and then the status is no. So let's run it and then see the changes. Okay, it seems that the automation has worked. Let's double check. First, we see that this cell has been updated, and here we see that the content has been successfully posted. Not only it has the right title, but also if I click on the image, it does redirect to the right article. Now another step is to make this scenario active all the time, meaning you should click here and then select the interval at which you want the automation to run. Let's just keep it at 15 minutes. Now I unselected this option, but let's just say 15 minutes have passed, meaning this automation will run again. So let me try to run it again and see what happens. Okay, you see that here it says the operation failed with an error. It makes perfect sense because there is no row where the date corresponds to the actual date and where the status is yes, because we just updated it. Meaning that if you keep the automation as it is and you just activate it every 15 minutes, all your logs will be made of errors. I mean, your automation will work only the first time, and then all the rest of the times for that specific day, it will crash. The solution for this is very simple. We need to add a filter here, meaning we try to run the rest of the automation only if a condition is true here. So you should click here and then click on set up a filter. Here the condition will be if the total number of rows is equal to 1. So you should select total number of bundles, and here you should write 1 and then click on OK. Let's try to run the automation again. Okay, you see that it didn't try to run this module here because this condition has failed, and we can click on it and see that indeed it has failed. Now we move on to the second automation, which is the one that takes into account the time also. So the logic of this automation is quite simple. Let's say this is the line of time, and this is the time at which we want to do the post. Here, if the automation detects we are before the post time, don't post. Here again, don't post. Here again, don't post. However, once we are after the post time, post it and then set it as yes, it has been posted. Here we need to make some extra changes to this automation. First, we need to extract the time from the result and set it to a variable. So here select tools and then set variable. Here for the variable name, just name it as you want. So here we'll do a timesheet, and for the value we will select the time here. Between those two modules we should not forget to add that condition that we just added, for the first automation. So here again we should select total number of bundles equal to 1 and then press OK. And then here we should set up a filter, and the condition will just follow what I just said, meaning that here we should select if timesheet. Here you should choose time operators and then select less than, and then here select the variable now. It means we are in this condition, meaning that the post time here from the column is less than now, which is this timestamp basically. And then just click on OK. Here, if you notice, the time that I wrote is in 24 hours format because I tried to do, the AM, PM format and it didn't work. So if you want to follow along, just write it as a 24-hour format as well. So right now in my computer, it is almost 4 p.m., meaning that if we run this automation, it will be working. However, I want to first show you the automation to not work, meaning we will set the time at 5 p.m. for example. So here it is at 5 p.m. Let's run it. You can see that I also set the status as no so that the automation will be working. Okay, so you see here we have a bundle, so this condition has passed. And we can double check it here because we have this data, for example this date that corresponds to the 24th of November. However, if we click on this condition here, we see that it has not passed, which is good. It means that the automation works. Now let's change the time and set it to 3:30 p.m. for example. Okay, so you see that it has passed. I mean, the rest of the automation worked. And we can double check that here the status is yes. Now guys, a final detail, you should pay attention to something here. So you can see that there are some reserved, characters that are written here. In programming, there are some characters that have a specific function, like a specific job. If you write them, you are basically telling make.com, hey, I want to do a special, function with this character. Let's try to publish content that includes parentheses and see what happens. So here I will update this cell to no, and then here I will just write some content, for example. Let's run the automation again. So you see that the content has ignored completely the rest of the elements that contain the parentheses. It should have written like day 6 and then space and then parentheses, some content and so on, right? The solution to this is that we should do something that we call escaping characters in programming, meaning that instead of telling make.com, hey, I want to use this character for a special job, we want to use the actual character, as a text. So the solution to that is to use backslash before that character. So now if I add backslash before those two parentheses, let's try the automation again. Okay, now you can see that the text has been included. And you should do the same thing for all those characters that you can see. Whether they are square brackets, curly brackets, @ symbol, Now concerning the mention, I didn't add that to this video because it's quite complex. If you want me, to tackle this issue in an upcoming video, just comment down below. Okay, so if you're a business owner and you prepared like a big batch of contents that you want to schedule automatically on LinkedIn, we can definitely do that for you. You'll just have to book a call with me through the Calendly link in the description. Cheers, guys.